Hi, everyone. We'll wait a couple of minutes for some more people to join. But in the meantime, do let me know where you're joining from. We've got quite a few of you I can see joining from the UK, I think, but I'm sure there are people from elsewhere. So do let me know while we're waiting for everybody else to join. Hermanus in South Africa. Hi, Deborah. Hi from Toronto. That is commitment. I don't know what time it is in Toronto, but that must be earlier in the day for you. I'm not sure if you can see here, but I mean, you can tell from what I'm wearing. The temperature has definitely changed to autumn here in the last few days. So it's, yeah, pretty windy and just pouring with rain currently. So that's winter wardrobe has been brought out already. Those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, I'm sure you're very excited to be heading into summer. I would be. Ooh. Okay, awesome. Well, we'll get started. And then if we have anyone else join, then we will, they'll join during the housekeeping. Annalisa, no, I can't hear you, but that is the kind of format of the webinars. It's lucky for you, I think, as you can only hear me. But if you have, as long as you can hear me, that is perfect, I think. And throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please do pop them in the Q&A, and we will go through questions at the end. The webinar is being recorded, so we'll be popping that on our YouTube channel in the next couple of days, and we'll send out that recording along with everything you need to be selling Thornybush. So that is images, fact sheets, rates, and some social media suggestions as well. So do, pop your questions in the Q&A. And obviously, as well, if you think of anything after the webinar, you can always get in contact with myself or Anita or JB if you have his contact, and we will absolutely be able to help. So today we're talking about Thornybush. So Thornybush is a collection of properties in the Greater Kruger. They've got 2 properties in the Thornybush Reserve and then 1 in the Sabi Sand. Now, not to be mistaken for all the other properties that are on the Thornybush Reserve. There are other properties owned by other companies on the game reserve. Thornybush, as we're talking about it today, owns Thornybush Game Lodge and Saseka Tented Camp, and then also Simbambili down in the Sabi Sand, just to confuse you. Thornybush has been around for many years. The Game Lodge has actually been going for about 50 years, I think it is now, and was one of the original properties on the reserve. As you can see here, this is a kind of map of the area. So those of you who maybe don't know it quite so well, you've got the main Kruger National Park to the right here. We've got Thornybush Game Reserve here, which borders the Timbavati, and this eastern boundary of the reserve actually has not got any fences anymore. So it's an unfenced reserve. So its border with the Timbavati is unfenced. And then the Timbavati is also unfenced into the Kruger National Park. So it's a completely open ecosystem into Thornybush. And then we've got Sabi Sand just down here with Simbambili situated in the north. You can fly into Eastgate Airport for Thornybush, and then charter flight into the Sabi Sand. So we'll talk a little bit about the wildlife, but the wildlife in both of these areas is absolutely incredible. I mean, we all know the Sabi Sand is incredibly renowned for its wildlife and the Greater Kruger in general. And you really have got a Big Five experience at all of these properties. Some absolutely incredible sightings that we've also, as a team, the Small World marketing team, have had as well. So starting off with Saseka. So Saseka is the newest property in the Thornybush collection. It opened in 2019, and it is a tented property. So it's very kind of high-end, very safe feeling tents though. So you're not talking about tented in the sort of East Africa sense of the word, but it is a very unique property for this area. So you've got 9 tents and this beautiful big main area all overlooking this gorgeous dry river. So the river sometimes does flood, but for the most part, it is a sand river. And we get guests down onto the riverbed as much as possible for sundowners, and for dinners as well. Now you'll see the decor here is very unique. It's very design-led lodge. It's an absolute, I think it would just be the most exceptional place for honeymooners. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's got that real mix of the old and new. So there's some really gorgeous modern touches mixed in with those kind of antique chairs, as you can see here, and beautiful kind of old tables and things as well. You walk in these back doors here when you arrive at the lodge, and it really is breathtaking. You walk through those doors and you have a 180-degree kind of view of this beautiful sort of main communal area with lots of different levels and running water, and it is really, really stunning. And you're overlooking that sand river, and it's not unusual to see game on that sand river as well. We've had, even during one of the photo shoots, hyena walking past. We said they were a prop. And yeah, your warthog, impala, you get quite a lot wandering by down on the riverbed. And as I said, we try and get guests down here as much as possible. It is a 5-star lodge, and it does feel very, very luxurious. So it's really nice to get guests down with their feet in the sand and feeling like they're really kind of in touch with the bush while they're here as well. So kind of the best of both. Now, you'll probably hear me mention the food quite a few times throughout this presentation, but the food at all the lodges is really incredible. You have this really super fresh flavors, really kind of light, delicious. All the meat obviously is incredible being in South Africa, and lots of really beautiful fresh salads. I never felt when staying here sort of heavy or like I'd eaten far too much. It always felt healthy and fresh, and they really do the food exceptionally. So moving on to the tented suites, we've got 9 of these tented suites. They all have a beautiful big bedroom, open bathroom, and each have their own private plunge pool as well. And they're all dotted along a sort of bend in the river. Gorgeous big decked areas. And as you can see, this would be absolute honeymoon heaven. Really just lovely private big suites. You can dine privately here as well if guests want to. They need not go to the main area at all. Even though it is absolutely beautiful. And you have, again, that kind of mix of the old and new in the interior design. The ceilings are actually stunning. They're botanical prints from a museum, botanical museum in South Africa. So they're all kind of local plants that you see on that ceiling there, which is really cool and adds a really unique touch to the property. Lovely big suites. You've got a huge, great big couch. You've got a lovely big bathroom area. We can put a curtain in as well. The bathroom is obviously quite open, but we can pop a curtain in as well. I don't know if you've actually ever had that request. And you can see here that the back of the rooms is tented. It's that canvas fabric, and the front is the glass doors. So it feels very safe and secure. First timers to Africa would feel absolutely secure here. You could, in theory as well, leave the front, the glass open at the front and just have the gauze screens closed. And it's, listen to the sound of the bush. But when you close it all up, you do feel very safe and secure in there. So I think, that is very nice, particularly for first timers to Africa. The sounds of the bush can be quite loud, especially on the first night. We've got beautiful outdoor shower area. And this was actually last season, I think, when it got really hot. We had baboons playing in the pool. I think the end of this video has one of the baboons actually sliding off the roof into the pool, which was quite funny. Now we also have Little Siseka here at Siseka. So this is kind of like a private little lodge within a lodge. So you've got one of the main tents. So this is the 10th tent, and it comes with its own private main area. This would work really, really nicely for couples wanting much more privacy. We can put a child's bed in the tented suite over here. So this is the kind of only area of the lodge that would take a child or children. The main area is 16 and over. So if guests with kids really did want to stay here, we would pop them in Little Saseka. They've got this lovely big communal area to themselves. It's right on this gorgeous bend in the river. So this is the kind of this main area for them. And this is their tent. And what we can actually do as well is if you've got two couples traveling together who want a private main area to themselves, we can add on tent one. So we would have Little Saseka plus tent one, and then they could share that main area and have their own private little mess area to have their meals. And there's a pool there as well. So as you can see, beautiful big space, and we've actually got lounges for 6 on the decked area there, and that lovely sort of sunken boma area as well. Oh, this is the hyena, the prop that popped up during the photo shoot. I just love that. And again, you've got such stunning interiors in here. It is really just so beautiful. I mean, it's like Instagram heaven. So that's an option for kind of, I think, particularly kind of couples wanting a lot of privacy, or couples maybe with 1 or 2 small children. We would put those children in the main tent with mum and dad because there isn't a bathroom in this main area. So that's just how that would be configured. So moving on to Game Lodge, and we're actually going basically next door. Game Lodge is a 5-minute drive round the river bend, the Sand River. So it's really, really nearby. You would have absolutely no idea that these 2 lodges were so close to each other. There's really nothing to indicate that they are so close to each other, but it is very handy, particularly, you know, we do quite a lot of, we do big events we can host big kind of birthdays and weddings at Game Lodge. And so you can then have overspill into Saseka. So that's something to consider as well. And also we're traversing a similar area. So you know that the game kind of experience at Saseka and Thornybush will be very, very similar. And you're again on that beautiful Sand River, slightly more elevated, overlooking it. And this is the original lodge on Thornybush. So it's got that real classic South African lodge feel to it. And it has actually just undergone a full refurb. So the refurb was completed, gosh, it was actually just before Christmas last year. So that's actually coming up to a year now. I'm not quite sure where that time's gone. And then we had the addition of Kamara House, which I'll talk about in a second, just this year in April, May kind of time. So we've got this beautiful, you know, really high thatch, that real classic South African kind of lodge feeling to it, but these beautiful new interiors that are very kind of modern and kind of brings it up to that very cool, quirky level of Saseka, but in its complete, you know, its own complete personality. We now have an indoor dining space. So this area, if the weather's not great, or if gets quite cold in the winter, guests can dine in here, and it's also a lovely little library kind of reading nook area as well, so you can sort of chill out in here during the day. We've got a lovely big communal pool that's overlooking the Sand River, and that's just undergone a bit of a refurb, that area as well. So these are the new rooms. For those of you who know Thornybush before, the footprint of the rooms is the same. So the structure has not changed at all. It has just, you know, we've rethatched them all and sort of done a complete overhaul of the interiors as well. So it's very cool and quirky, very kind of different in its design. We've had really awesome feedback from guests as well staying here, and beautiful. I mean, the bathrooms are just heavenly, and you also have an outdoor shower here, and where the bathtubs are, you have this glass screen, so you can see out onto the Sand River. No one can see you, maybe the animals, but you can see out onto the Sand River while you're taking a bath, which is lovely. And also, for those of you who know Thornybush or maybe don't, a lot of the rooms at Thornybush, some of them have sort of 2 rooms where the doors kind of face each other. So they work really, really nicely for guests who maybe are traveling with, say, older kids, or if you've got 2 couples, or, you know, mum and dad and their kind of kids in their 20s. If they don't want, you know, a family villa or to be in the same room, but they want to be close by, that's a really nice way of doing it, is having those 2 rooms that are very close to each other and have a path that kind of leads off to the two rooms. Thornybush Game Lodge is brilliant for families. I would say if you were kind of tossing up between Game Lodge and Saseka for a family, I would absolutely go with Game Lodge. They're really well set up for kids, and they can do lots of fun activities like the little walking safaris. They do like a poo safari and things like that. And then we also have the addition of Kamara House. So Kamara House is our new family villa. This joined the portfolio in April, sort of late April this year, and was sort of part of a new refurb. So this is really the main family option at Game Lodge. And what's really lovely is, I'll sort of give you an idea of the geography. You've got the main lodge here, and then the Kamara House here. So you actually, when you come back from a game drive, you bypass the main lodge area and go straight into Kamara House. Guests are welcome as well to utilize the main area at Thornybush at Game Lodge, or they can be completely private and self-contained in their own little house. But they have the best of both worlds. So it's a 3-bedroom house. At the front here, you've got a double bedroom, and you've got it mirrored on the other side as well. And just behind this double bedroom, you've got a kid's bedroom, which is super, super cute. It's got twin beds. You've got this gorgeous big living and dining area. It's fully catered, so you have kind of, it's privately hosted here, and you have a private vehicle as well with Kamara House. So it's a beautiful big area, really lovely for a family to kind of have their own self-contained space. Private pool here, and again, you're overlooking the Sand River. This is the super gorgeous kids room. I think it's so cute. Everything's kind of slightly lower down, but the mirrors slightly lower and everything, which is very sweet. We've just actually launched as well proper walking safaris, so we can do brilliant walks with kids around the lodge, and the guides kind of cater it to children. But we can also now offer a proper kind of 3 to 4 hour morning walking safari with our guide Tom, and he's absolutely fantastic. He's so passionate, and just a really, really brilliant walking guide, and really gets you can cover quite a lot of ground, but more than that is you get to have the kind of real immersive experience of seeing those smaller parts of the bush, and those kind of those all important things that you kind of miss when you're on the back of a vehicle. We also can do photo shoots. So we have a photographer that we utilize. And a lot of people, this is their once in a lifetime trip. It might be their honeymoon. We can host weddings here as well. So we can host photo shoots while you're out here. So then I'll move on to Simbambili, which is our property in the Sabi Sand. So Simbambili will actually be undergoing a refurb next year, potentially. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But it's a beautiful lodge overlooking this gorgeous sort of plain, and it's got a watering hole there as well. So you've got a watering hole right in front of the lodge. It's only 9 rooms, so it's small again, like Saseka. And many of you will know that the Sabi Sand is absolute leopard heaven. So this is actually a photo of some leopard cubs that was stashed in the manager's bathroom. They left the door open, and mum came in and stashed her cubs here, and managers had to move out for a couple of months to wait for her to move them again. But there are sometimes we get leopards in the lodge. But you certainly will see leopards while you're here. We never guarantee anything on safari, but if there's one thing we can nearly guarantee, it's leopards in the Sabi Sand. But that's not to say that the game experience here, in terms of other game, is any less. You absolutely have a big 5 game experience in Sabi Sand. It's really incredible. So the lodge has got this gorgeous main area, which is, as I said, overlooking that lovely big waterhole. You've got that sort of sunken seating area there, and you can very much expect to see game walking through here, especially in the drier months where they come down to this watering hole to drink, and you can get a lot of elephants, as you can see here. Again, the food is incredible. The food at Thornybush, I don't think I spoke about that much, but is amazing. It's very kind of Ottolenghi style, kind of sharing sort of harvest table, kind of lots of salads and things like that. And it's quite similar here, sort of sharing platters. And they absolutely love setting up kind of bush dinners or, beautiful sundowners with amazing snacks that you have to be very careful not to fill yourself up on before dinner. So each room at Simbambili has got a private plunge pool. It's a fantastic honeymoon destination, or really fantastic for couples, because you have this beautiful big suite with so much privacy and that private pool as well. We have 2 slightly larger rooms. So we've got the honeymoon suite, and we've also got a family suite. So the honeymoon suite just has this this large lounge area. These are common rated as well, so it's just on request, but the rates are the same, just to keep it easy for you. So this is our honeymoon suite, and then we do also have the family suite as well, which is again just slightly bigger, and they all have this beautiful outdoor area with an outdoor bed, which is so lovely for chilling out during the day. Now, I know everyone talks about the people, and we always talk about the people in all of our various properties that we represent, because they truly do make the experience. So having beautiful big smiles, you know, really incredible guides who totally understand their guests, even down to the housekeeping just being just so happy and joyful and lovely to chat to. It really does absolutely make the experience. And so often people come back raving, you know, about the people that they've met along the way. They make such a huge impact on your experience on safari. As I've said a couple of times, we can do celebrations. Game Lodge really is so well set up for celebrations. So we've done weddings, and we can do big kind of like birthday bash, you know, with sort of 40 odd people. So Game Lodge actually hosts, it's got 15 rooms, then you've got Kamara House, and then obviously next door you've got Saseka. So it really, it lends itself well to big celebrations. We have a really great commitment to our community, and actually that is now defined in our new membership with the Long Run. So we have, so the Long Run is a membership of kind of mostly nature-based tourism businesses, and the framework is the 4 C's framework. So it's conservation, community, culture, and commerce. And you have to qualify to become part of the Long Run program. And Thornybush has now qualified for that. So we're really, really proud to be part of that. We take kids from the local school out on safari. They live so close to these incredible places, but don't necessarily always get to experience them. And it's kind of, you know, training the next generation of eco warriors. So it's brilliant to be able to take them out and show them, you know, what is on their doorstep in this incredible wilderness. We have our anti-poaching unit on Thornybush, and these guys can actually come to the lodge as well if guests would like to hear from them and would like to learn more about what they do on the property. We are fully solar now, actually. And building that up across all of the lodges. So Simbambili is being built up on solar. Jamie quite often jokes that we are doing it firstly for sustainability, but also because we're using the backup generator so often due to load shedding. So it actually makes much more sense to be solar run these days, just in that sense as well. But that kind of gives you, hopefully, a quick overview of the Thornybush properties.